Yeah, it's cold. It's cold, but it's a whole lot easier to jump in after a win. Jump on in with us to the cold tub. That's right. Welcome to the cold tub. Victory Monday. What's up, Jake Plummer?
The Broncos won, and it was like traffic was smooth and the sun was brighter and
Wait,
the birds sounded.
Broncos won?
Yeah.
Oh, Denver Broncos.
Everybody was better. Everybody was happy.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's opening doors and everybody's just Broncos win.
Why do you think like football has that power over an entire city? Whereas if you lose a football game, which I mean, let's face it, like doesn't really affect your life like directly, but it does. It affects everyone's life who cares about this sport. What do you think? What power does football have over people?
It's funny because unless it's the last game of the year and you lose and don't go on further, that's the one that usually stings the worst for players. But the fans seem to hold on to things a lot longer than the players because we got to move on.
Right.
So it's like, all right, we win, we lose, move on. This is the new religion. I mean, it's the Church of NFL.
Church of Roger Goodell.
No, it's the Church of the NFL.
Well, he's the pastor.
It's the owners that run this thing. He's just their puppet. So the owners that own these teams and have the money, they come in and they're like the priests, the pastors, the congregation comes in, they watch the game. It's a sense of community. It's a sense of family. It's a gathering that you can all put your energy into. And so, the Broncos put down a good sermon yesterday.
And the sound of helmets cracking as the church bells clanging.
Yes, and whatever in underlying, dirt or anything bad going on or any of the things below the surface, the public really doesn't know.
Right. It's really how you perform on Sunday.
Just like a real church.
Yeah, right, exactly. You don't want to see how the sausage is made?
No.
It's funny because we're gonna get into this game. Broncos win 28-3. I took my son to practice during training camp, and it was like his first exposure to football. But it was like training camp practice is not a great way to get exposed to football because it's like the first hour of practice is a bunch of guys in different areas just doing random drills, and it's like, what are they doing, Daddy? Like, you got to fall in love with the game by watching a game being played that can roar the crowd, the ball in flight. That's how I fell in love with the game. Not like the minutia of the way people break down plays and the backside linebackers cheating over here with a weak side blitz. Like, kids don't really, in my experience, fall in love with the game.
You know what I fell in love with?
What?
Monday Night Football. Dun, 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 and I'd be on that roof with the antenna trying to get good reception in Idaho.
The antenna?
Yeah, back before cable. We didn't have cable TV.
No, it's called an antenna.
Antenna.
Antenna?
Antenna. An antenna? Okay, anyway, that's where I fell in love. And you make a great point of what we talked about earlier and we're going to bring up today is like the practices that they have and the OTAs and a coach trying to figure out what a player can do. Then we get to see this offense start to come together, this defense start to gel as the players get to go out and actually run through real live football. And that's where we'll see the coaching start to get better and the players start to perform better, just like we saw yesterday.
Yeah, that's an interesting point about the coaching getting better because the Broncos did perform a lot better last night.
Yes.
And especially offensively, put up 512 yards, 28 points, probably could have scored more points. Bo had an interception in the end zone. I don't really care about that personally.
Defensively, they didn't let the Bengals pass 50-yard line but once.
Yeah, after the first drive.
At one point I was like, Cincinnati, you're going the wrong way. They were like, flag. It was I didn't know that they built a theme park on the field there at Mile High.
26 flags.
26 flags theme park. It was a joke. I mean, if you're a fan watching that, you're going to probably go, you played that game for your son the first time, he'd be like, this game sucks, Dad.
Exactly.
All they do is throw flags and tell people you can't hold.
So in your opinion, the result of that game, was it more the Bengals being crappy, the Broncos really finding their groove? What were your thoughts on?
You almost said sure-footed, or
I was going to say the other version of crappy, but
okay.
Just in case there are children watching.
We are in the cold tub, so I don't know if you should censor.
Shitty.
They were bad. And if one player, Burrows, makes that big of a difference, then that's just bad by the coaches not to have a better quarterback to come in and play. Not that Jake Browning wasn't, a good quarterback. He's in the NFL. He just, he was not performing. He wasn't putting the ball in those tight places. And the thing that was great was seeing the defense continue to make it hard for him.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm going to say. Would Joe Burrow have had a ton more success against that defense yesterday? I mean, the defense was swarming.
Yeah, Joe's a little faster, better on the run. I mean, there were times when Jake got out of the pocket and just threw it away. Burrows makes plays. Burrows is a dynamic player, one of the best in the league. So when you lose your starter, it's tough. Everybody raises their level, but I think that we saw that this kid is not Joe Burrows, but not to throw anything against what happened yesterday. It was dominant, and that was what I like to see. It wasn't like a close win over a bad team. They dominated the Bengals, and that was good.
And at that first drive, they moved the ball down the field pretty easily, and then they tightened up the screws a little bit. Yep. But I was worried they were going to go back after Riley Moss a lot, because that's what they did last year at the end of the season. They attacked him. He was coming off a knee injury, and T. Higgins had a ton of catches that game. They just kept going at Riley Moss. Yesterday, he was able, after that first catch he gave up, to tighten it up and prevent some catches. He did have a penalty on him. Probably could have had a couple more penalties on him. He's a little grabby. Do you think that's going to come back and bite him at some point?
Yeah, man. If I'm the DB coach right now, I'm buying boxing gloves and making them wear them all during practice. Because if you were to go and just watch player by player, I wouldn't be surprised if Riley Moss isn't holding jersey on every single route that's run by him. So they call them sometimes, and sometimes they don't. When's that call going to come? Hopefully not at a real crucial moment late in the season. So dirty hands will end up killing the defense, because everybody's doing their job except one guy's having sloppy hands. So they're going to continue to go at Moss. I mean, Surtain showed us. PS2 said it came back, and then, he covered well, was there, made the plays. They didn't even really go after him, because that's why I say, like, Burrows would have gone after Surtain. He's not going to shy away from Surtain. Burrows is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. But you get a backup in there, I'm sure they were telling him, do not go at Surtain, don't even go, because they know this kid's not going to be as dynamic as Burrows.
As a quarterback, how do you approach which side to go at? Is it just like the receiver, the play, what the coverage dictates, or are you trying to stay away from a certain guy?
Well, your game plan sometimes can dictate which side of the field you're attacking, and by matchup alone, sometimes a great DB will just cover the same receiver.
Yeah.
But a lot of times that doesn't happen, and you have great DB on the left or on the right, and the other one's on the left, usually so that we're forced as a quarterback to have to read to the back side of the field, the part that's harder to see when you're dropping back. I played against some great DBs in my career. And so for me, no, I wasn't going to go into the game thinking I'm going to go attack Deion Sanders. But if I had a chance to throw a ball and it was in the middle of a play and I'm going through my progression and there's my receiver, I'm going to throw it.
Yeah.
And know that I better throw it accurately, whether I'm going against Deion or Cleon, whoever that guy was.
Cleon Flanders?
Yes.
He's pretty good.
Cleon Flanders. So, as a quarterback, it's not like I'm going to throw a more accurate pass against anybody else, but those good players do make you level up and come knowing coming into the game, I better be on today. I better be crisp. And that's what I got to do. Then I got to have faith in my receivers. And we saw yesterday some beautiful moments with Bo and his receivers spreading the ball around, making some really good plays.
Let's talk about Bo, because he completed passes to 9 receivers. Bo had 326 yards. I think it was a career high, 2 touchdowns. He had a pick in the end zone. I hear a lot of people like, you can't do that. You can't throw that. But I'm like, who gives a like, I don't care if you throw a pick. Like, you're kicking ass. You guys are moving the ball
18 yards.
Yeah. So, like, if you've thrown 2 touchdowns, you run one in, you guys are moving the ball like that, you take a chance, it gets picked. I don't care about that. You know what I mean? It is what it is. I mean, there's some stuff to clean up.
Yeah, you don't want to do that at the end of the half. It's always not a good idea to leave the game, at the end of the half with a pick. But they got the ball back.
Yeah.
Came back and made some big-time throws, big-time plays. Bo's a playmaker. He's not going to shy away from pulling the trigger and trying to make a play. And that's what I love about him. And that's what we're all going to end up loving about him as he grows and evolves and continues to do good things with what he's done up till now. I mean, even Aikman on the telecast said, hey, Bo's had inconsistent feet. And we've talked about his feet, rushing them in the pocket, not setting them. Yesterday, what we saw was some really good progression from Bo for this week to stand in the pocket. He did have a good pocket. Good job, O-line.
Yep.
The O-line did really well yesterday.
Yep.
But it gave him a chance for us to see what we've been wanting to see, and that's his rocket arm come alive. So
cool. Well, let's take a look at a couple of the plays in particular where Bo had a nice couple, good feet, completing some good passes. Let's start with that first one, David. Second quarter, 4:57 left in the second quarter. Bo Nix throws a dart
to Franklin,
Troy Franklin.
Yeah, I mean, this is the coaching on this is just take your drop, make the fake, set your feet, you're hitching up, and back foot set on time, on rhythm. That's a great play right there. And like I said, when I was in college, I studied Aikman because Aikman's feet were impeccable, perfect, beautiful drop. And so what he's done here is he's hitched up, but he didn't take off to run or feel like he was threatened. He kept his eyes downfield, and it's a tendency sometimes for a QB to let their eyes leak to the what's in front of them, and think that there's pressure when there's not. And maybe it was the orange helmets that he thought, oh, it's just my own lineman right there, when it was a D lineman. And he didn't get anxious and take off. Either way, Bo did a great job setting his foot. There was setting his feet, staying in rhythm, and making some big time throws.
So he's in shotgun there. Can we see that play again, David? Again. And then you see Troy Franklin go in motion here. Troy's a speedy guy. He can go all the way across the field in motion, outside of that outside receiver, and then back across the field there. That's a lot of running for a receiver to do on one play. So they clearly have a lot of faith in Troy Franklin's ability to run. Look at the little push off there. Bink.
Yeah.
You do that quick. You don't want to extend the hand.
Be careful.
You want to do the flipper, the chicken wing. That's what we used to call it, the chicken wing, just with the elbow. But when you extend the hand like that, you're leaving it up to the refs, and these refs who it took us to the roller coasters at 26 flags. We don't want to leave it in their hands there. They love throwing those flags.
They were throwing them like it was ugly. So the flag, run, flag.
Yeah.
It was 3rd and 30 for the Bengals a couple times.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Yeah. And anytime you get like a holding penalty, you start, your 1st and 20. I mean, that kind of puts you behind.
And it's agonizing as a fan to watch when there's constantly a whistle blown and flag thrown. It's better when the game flows.
Yeah. And it didn't flow a lot, but the Broncos got the win anyway. All right, let's move on to another play in the second quarter. 30 seconds left. We had a completion of Marvin Mims.
Now this is after an interception this is after that interception down in the red zone. They get the ball back, and here's Bo saying, "What interception? I want to go with the time left and get some points." This is short memory. This is what you want from your number one, from your gunslinger, from the guy that's doing it. Stand there, great protection. He didn't have any ghosts and take off, and he rips a ball into the hole here against cover 2. Great job,
hole, as Sean Payton calls it.
Yeah, the great job of Mims coming to the ball, coming back towards the ball. Because if he would have just stayed up the sideline, that might not have been a completion. So great to see him pull the trigger there after the interception. Could have easily gone into a shell and like, oh, poor me, the fans are booing. Nah, he comes out, drills one to Mims, who gets up. Good job by him being on it to go get the ball to the middle of the field, because obviously they're in a time crunch here trying to get down and score before the half.
And again, an incredibly clean pocket by the offensive line, playing at a very high level.
Here's what we see when Bo sets his feet and steps into it. He's got a cannon. He can throw the rock. Now, we've seen him not set his feet, and like drift and be a little bit inaccurate. But here yesterday, he definitely felt more comfortable. Obviously, he worked on that last week, and it's going to continue to be a process.
So you say he worked on that last week. Obviously, he's probably been working on that his whole freaking life, right? So how does it, like, from week to week change so much? Do you think it's part of the game plan and the simplicity of it? I mean, maybe simplifying it a little bit because they didn't have as many personnel changes. They kind of left guys out there a little bit. Do you think it had anything to do with just his comfort level with the game plan?
Yeah, and guys getting open when they're called, their numbers called, like right there, the play before that, when Franklin gets open. If he runs a bad route and it's not there, now we may see Bo panic a little bit and get off of his rhythm. But if he stays in rhythm, guys are getting open, then that's part of the having the right game plan, knowing your personnel.
Yeah.
The coach is starting to know their personnel. We used to say that a lot. I used to say that a lot. KYP.
Yeah.
That was how I'd say it. So people didn't think of it as a put down in any way. Like if you threw a ball to a certain player, as we have a clip here in a little bit, we're going to see of a throw to Harvey, where you got to know your personnel. And once you get to know those guys and trust them, and that's starting to get built, then things become a little more easy.
See, I always thought KYP was something else. Know your, you know what I mean? The P was a different word. Now you're
property.
No.
Pie.
No.
Personal. I don't know.
No, you're
parachute.
No. So all right, let's go. Puppy? 2 plays later.
Puppy.
Know your puppy. That's what it is. Yes. You got to know your puppy. If you don't know your puppy, then what are you doing? All right, a couple plays later. Yeah, we got a touchdown to Cortland Sutton. And Cortland Sutton was banged up a little bit. The previous play came up limping, stayed in the game, and caught this one. Bango.
Great job. Great drop. One hitch, foot under him, rhythm, timing, trust, knowing your personnel. If I put it out there, I got a guy who's going to go get it, even though his body's in a sacrifice going down, getting a hard land on his back. But Bo ripped this ball. This is sick. I love it.
I'll say this. I mean, that's an adjustment by Cortland. You see him, he's open. He could, it's not a perfect throw.
No.
And it's never going to be a perfect throw. You got to go get it and sacrifice your body to do it. Cortland Sutton, who's already banged up, goes up and gets it, gets toppled, lands on his back, probably knocked the wind out a little bit, comes to the sideline as a hero.
Great route, too. He widens to give that window from the free safety.
Yeah.
And, the funny thing, I watched this game today, and it's like, it has changed, although it's still the same. This route was run 5,000 times when I played. If 27 was John Lynch, Cortland Sutton would probably have a lacerated spleen and be in the hospital today. Yeah. But now, he goes up and he doesn't even hit him. He actually stops on the play because he's like probably scared that they're going to take his paycheck if he hits and does his job. So a little bit different. That's where
he's backing up.
Yeah, now from now on, let's attack that. I think that more coaches and more teams should attack that because you can't hit the guy. So just throw it up high. Cortland, go get it. You're going to have a bruised back. So what? You've got a bruised back. That's how the game goes. You're going to be bruised. That's what the game is about. You're going to be sore. You're going to have to work with that the rest of the year. Keep going up and catching those balls.
Yeah, that's back in the day, like you said, the receivers used to get laid the fuck out going across the middle. And that would be a check against reckless throws by a quarterback too.
Yeah, it was hard, man.
But now the quarterback can just know that he can just
put it up there. Yep, put it up and let him go up and get it.
Yeah.
And you might get hit a little bit, but you're not going to get those old school hits where it's like, oh God, where you see guys getting bent in half and laying there wondering if they
Who's that old safety for the Cardinals, that big hitter, Chuck Cecil?
Yeah.
That guy, dude. He wouldn't even be able to play here.
I love your mom. Cross-eyed with his arms back, just crushing somebody.
His head first.
And go talk to him now. See how he's doing. That's the sad thing. Some of these guys that did that, they're probably not doing so well, or their brains might not be doing so well. Not all of them. Some of them are doing just fine. But, the game's less violent in that regard.
Yep. All right, let's get into that know your personnel moment you were talking about. An incompletion that Bo Nix threw to his running back, RJ Harvey, coming out of the backfield here.
Yeah, it can't be all, beautiful and good. This is just something that Bo's going to learn as he gets older. This is a running back. This ain't Cortland Sutton. So look at him. That's 5'8". He's squatty bodied. He's an athlete.
Squatty body.
But you got to put that ball on him. And that's not like a knock on Bo's throw. It's a great throw, perfectly thrown, but it's know your personnel. Now, if that was you, I'd just put it out there because I know you got athletic skills and ball catching skills. This is a running back.
And I'm taller and longer.
Yeah, this is a running back that's now getting out into space and he's not comfortable out there. And so here, Bo rips it, one, and two, it's just high. So as Bo evolves, he'll learn this, KYP, know your personnel. Certain guys you can lead and they'll go get the ball. Other guys, you got to drop it right on them or put it on the shoulder you want them to turn to and help them navigate the complexities of the game.
Yeah. Play that again, David. So running backs are used to certain angles, right? When they catch passes, like flats and little bubbles and little things like that. So there's certain angles that they're just uncomfortable with. They don't do it a lot. And this is one of them. When you're heading up the sideline and the ball's kind of over your shoulder and it's coming at that angle.
It's a tough catch by anybody.
It is. But, for receivers, we're just used to doing it.
Yeah.
But you'll see, he kind of, when they show it again in the slow motion.
He almost stops.
See how he's kind of pulling his body away from it instead of pushing his body to the ball and attacking the ball with his hands. He's kind of letting the ball fade him up the field there, and he's short. And so, KYP there. But still.
And KYP, know your personnel, because number 12 is someone we all know now.
Yeah.
And that's exciting.
Yeah. Know your puppies.
Know your puppies.
And you're going to know that puppy.
Know your players, know your personnel, know your parking spot.
Yeah. So I want to give some props to Sean Payton and the play calling and just kind of the evolution of the offense over the first month. Sean Payton has traditionally been an average head coach in September, and then he's like really good in October. I think he's like 30-30 in September, but then like 57-13 or something like that in October. And so to me, that shows me that he comes in with a plan. He wants to do a bunch of different stuff, and then he starts to realize that some of it's going to work, but some of it isn't.
Yeah.
And so he's got to cater what he's doing to his team and where they're at, meet them where they are and what they're doing well. And I think he's doing that, and he did that last night. And an example of that is J.K. Dobbins getting 16 carries and being the first guy to get 100 yards rushing for the Broncos since Latavius Murray like 3 years ago.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. J.K. Dobbins talked about that after the game. Here's J.K.
I'm one of those guys where if I get in a rhythm, like if I get consecutive carries, I think I get better. As the game goes on, I get better. And I'm sure that's probably every running back. They would probably tell you that. And so tonight, like in the second half, that's what you saw. And I think Coach Payton is starting to figure me out and RJ out and the offensive line out and just the whole offense. You know, he's figuring it out, and he's doing a great job of putting us in the right position. And so the series, getting consecutive touches, you see what happens. She said 38 games. We haven't had a 100-yard rusher, and that happened tonight because Coach Payton put us in that position.
That's right. Coach Payton put him in that position. It's got to feel good. You know, any player wants to get a rhythm going. Every player.
Yes.
As a quarterback, you get to do that because you touch the ball every single play, right? To an extent. I mean, it depends if the play calling's choppy or whatever, but you get the ball in your hands every play. But the other 5 skill position players on the field, they want the balls in their hand every play too. And if they don't get that, or if it's so sporadic, especially for a running back who gets carries, if he gets 1 carry, then goes off the field and comes back 3 plays later and then has to block, and then 3 plays later he's back on for a carry, he can't get that rhythm going.
Yeah.
Every running back wants the ball. Every receiver wants the ball. That's the hard part is finding a way to spread it around, which they did, but also getting guys to feel comfortable in the moment and get a rhythm.
Yeah, that's just the coach's coach. That's why they're paid to do that. Know your Payton.
Know your
KYP.
Payton.
Know your Payton. Which one is it?
Yeah.
Is it the coach Payton, the former player Payton, the GM Payton?
Payton.
Know your Payton.
Payton, and Payton. It's a triangle.
Know your Payton. But getting into rhythm, all the good running backs I ever played with, they wanted to get hit early. They wanted to have those struggling yards. And then by the third quarter, Reuben Drones, for instance. I mean, come on. How long do you want to tackle that guy?
Yeah.
Come the third quarter, come the fourth quarter. Now he's ripping off 6, 7, 8 yards a pop. You're chewing up time of possession. You're staying on the field. You're in manageable third downs, which we saw happen yesterday. Yeah. Manageable third downs. You stay on the field. You give your defense a rest. That's going to be the key to success as this season goes, is like the run game, keeping them in those manageable situations to make 10, 12 play drives. That defense, when they're rested, holy smokes, man, the effort they showed. And what I saw, which was so good, was the effort late.
Yeah.
Late in the game with 4 minutes left, it's 28-3. They're still flying to the ball, popping those guys. And that's a great sign of just guys that care.
Why do you think they care? Why do you think they're playing so hard? I mean, it's particularly
why they
last
care.
night. Well, why? Because it's here, and there's no better place on earth to be playing football than here in Denver for the Denver Broncos. Great head coach and great ownership.
Yes.
We got a chance to be around the owners yesterday, didn't we, Jake?
Yeah.
I think they played a clip of that on the broadcast. Can you play that one, David?
Earlier today, Kerry Walton-Penner was joined by part owner Condoleezza Rice in welcoming 30 former players and their families.
I tell you, it was nice seeing Jake Plummer in the shot that we just showed. I hadn't seen Jake in a long time. Last I heard, he was living on a mountain top somewhere. I mean, full beard. So good to see Jake Plummer back in Denver.
Good old Troy.
Living on a mountaintop with a beard.
With a beard. At one point I was, but here I am now at Gorilla.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bo leaving.
Yeah.
Bo Nix is a great player.
Yeah, he is. So yesterday at that luncheon, it was a leadership huddle, and we got a chance to talk to Kerry Penner and Condoleezza Rice about impressive. A variety of things. It was pretty cool. What were your impressions of that?
Yeah, I mean, any organization in the sports world, is got a lot of owners with a lot of money. And when you have owners that really show that they care, I was encouraged, and it was fresh to hear like Dr. Rice say, bring light to these moments where instead of bringing heat, where everything's about, oh, you're wrong, I'm right, you're wrong. It's like bring light. And that's a feminine energy into a very masculine world that we live in football. It is mostly all men. And it's sometimes very
pain. I'm not in pain.
Toxic,
there's no such thing as pain.
And it can be very toxic masculinity,
Yeah.
centered around a lot of things we don't need to discuss on this show, but you know what I'm talking about. So to have these women come in and talk to the alumni and to listen and answer our questions about looking into, player-led councils where we can help navigate our post-career health and wellness, even talking about alternative wellness. And when it comes to functional mushrooms like umbo nix and even psychedelics, to hear them address that and say they've read the research and they're seeing that, it's very encouraging as a former player, because you and I are in pretty good shape. We're still really young for the game. I mean, there's a whole slew of guys that played before us that are not doing that well, that didn't make the money we made or I made.
Come on, man.
You made some money. I mean, obviously that's the thing too, the disparity in the checks of what people think. But a lot of these guys played when it was a violent game. And so they're beat up. They're trying to get help. They don't know where to go. Yes, the NFL provides a lot of things, but having owners like Kerry and Dr. Rice, I mean, it's very encouraging, as the ownership will never change. Head coaches will come and go. Quarterbacks will come and go. But the message sent by the new ownership is it's a great place to work. It's a great place to come visit. It's a great place to be. It's a great place to be a part of. And yesterday was really a breath of fresh air for me to see such pivotal, important people in this organization really want to put the effort towards helping not just the current players, but also the former players in their health and wellness journeys.
Yeah, Kerry Penner really taking the reins when it comes to former players and alumni relations and trying to find ways to help us make our lives better, figure out what we need. And it's really cool because they're taking the time to learn, to figure out where we're at, to try to meet us where we are and help us get to a better place. You mentioned the feminine energy. There's a lot of father figures in football. It's always about pleasing the father, right? You don't want to let down your father. Like the coach is the father. All the coaches are like, "Oh, come on." And you're like, "Yes, daddy, whatever you say." Yeah. But there are no mothers around. There are none. And there's an interesting thing happening in Indianapolis right now. The de facto owner, she's down there on the sideline,
headset on, taking notes,
and they're 4-0 or whatever they are. Like they're playing better. So, like, is there something to creating a balance with feminine energy around a football team that allows them to flourish and be more balanced themselves and more in touch with actually what they're doing?
I think it takes a little bit more of an evolved male. Masculine to be able to bring that energy in and know that it's necessary. As I'm good friends with Dr. Jen Welter, who was one of the first female coach in the NFL for the Arizona Cardinals, and her players, she coached linebackers. Now you're thinking, oh, why is this lady in the league? She played 14 years of professional football.
Wow.
Women's professional football. So she knows the game. It's not that she's a man or a woman. She knows ball. So she goes in and she would handwrite personal notes to her linebackers after the week, before the game, on like the Friday, once all the hay's in the barn, she would handwrite these notes. And the players, they've never received anything like that about like, you did so good this week. It was encouraging. It was like, you're going to have a great day. I'm so proud of you. It was very motherly, very compassionate, different than what we're used to in this male-driven league that's all about, drinking beer and making bets and bashing skulls. It's nice. That's why I was like very encouraged by what's happening here, where the NFL is going to make changes when it's necessary, but owners like the owners we have here in Denver, they can actually help institute this change sooner and be the ones that are spearheading this and driving this sort of change to help find different ways for these guys to not go down that road of that post-career narrative of, oh boy, when's it going to set in? When am I going to forget my name? They want to help us, and that's beautiful.
Yeah. There's nothing that reflects better on an organization, in my opinion, than its former players thriving in life.
Yeah.
Healthy, happy, engaged, purpose-driven, finding something they care about, positive members of the community instead of the opposite, dealing with all the other negative stuff that we have friends who are dealing with that as well.
Yeah.
And to me, the thing that's really encouraging about the new ownership group is they are wasting no time trying to make a difference there.
Yeah.
And they have the money to do it, but they're also not just throwing money at it. They want to research it first, take the time to listen. She, Carrie Penner talked about, she was asked what's a good trait of a leader. And she said, someone who listens, someone who takes the time to listen to people. Not all leaders do that. A lot of leaders just want to tell you what it's going to be. Well, they're coming in and listening to the people who have ideas, including you and I and the rest of the alumni. So we want to thank them for having us out there. And we want to thank you all for joining us here on the Cold Tub. Do you feel better? I feel better.
Man, the pain's gone.
Like
I said, the sun is brighter today. The Broncos got to win.
Are you going to have an Bo Nix bar?
Maybe.
Yeah.
If Bo comes down here and has one with me.
Well, he might be in the Cold Tub, but he's probably feeling pretty good after that victory. So are we. That's Jake Plummer. I'm Nathan Jackson. Thanks for joining us in the Cold Tub.